All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Wisdom Chat. Thank you for joining the channel or stopping by the channel. I am Dr. Toya Davis, and today we are going to talk about soul contracts. What are they? Why do they exist? And the idea that some people have of them as kind of this wonderful thing, particularly when we are talking about mates and partners, right? We've all heard about this is my soulmate. Right, so we're going to talk a little bit about soul contracts today. All right, if you are new to me or to my channel, as I said earlier, I am Dr. Latoya Davis, and I help spiritually in tune women really learn to tap in and trust their intuition. I am all about letting go of the shoulds, the woulds, the coulds, right? All of the programmed thoughts, the conditioning, all of the things that we've taken on, right, as we've grown up in order to survive and exist in the world. Let's remove those things so that we can show up fully and live the life that our soul wants us to lead, right? Primarily, I do work using the Akashic records and the ancestral wisdom and guidance. So I'm an energy worker, an Akashic records master, and a spiritual intuitive. All right, so let's get into today's topic. Soul contracts. So in my group, in my Facebook group, Living an Aligned Soul Led Life, I had posted a video that is a popular meme or a reel. It's a popular reel that's going around right now. And it showed these two people kind of connecting in these different ways. And the particular one that I posted in my group talked about soulmates or soul relationships. And so I told them, divine partnership. That's what they call it. It's the history of soulmates, divine partnership. And I had asked the people in my group, to comment and kind of we would talk about soul contracts a little bit. So first, let's talk about this idea of when we talk about a soul, just what is that, right? Because when I recognize that everybody joins me kind of from a different place. So when we're talking about this idea of a soul, it simply is the aspect of you that is eternal, right? It is the aspect of you that continues to exist past this physical incarnation. And because this particular aspect of you continues to exist past this physical incarnation, the learnings, the knowings, the doings, all of that stuff is still incorporated or embedded kind of in your soul memory, right? In your soul memory system. And so one of the ways that we are able to understand kind of the soul's journey and understand all of the stuff that's embedded in that soul memory system is by using the Akashic records, right? Which is why I love the Akashic records, because we get to understand ourselves at soul level and not kind of just this physical embodiment. But what that kind of continuation of things does means that sometimes we bring with us things that we might want to really move forward with in this lifetime. And sometimes we bring things with us that we might not want to move forward with in this lifetime. So part of the soul contract idea is when we're thinking about that the soul is continuous, right? And this idea of we continue to come back. When we're thinking about soul contract, really what we're talking about are those agreements that our soul has made before coming back here based on past experience about things that the soul has wanted to either do, clear up, experience, people to meet, experiences to have, all of this stuff, right? So these are agreements that the soul has kind of agreed to. And then we come into this lifetime with those agreements. And then we live those out, unbeknownst to ourselves that that's actually what we're doing. Okay. Sometimes the contract is as simple as I want to be born in Nevada on a rainy day with, I don't know, some really obscure phenomenon that's happening, right? Because I'm going to need the energy from that particular phenomenon to kind of propel me through life, right? Something simple. It could be in this last life that I had, I struggled really, really hard to maintain the money that I had. right? And that money didn't bring me happiness. It didn't, well, the money may have brought the money may have brought me things, but having to struggle to maintain that really did not bring me a sense of ease. And so, you know what? I don't want to deal with that again. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have that as a thing. And so in this lifetime, I don't need the money, right? Because I don't want to struggle the way that I did in that past life to maintain that money. Okay. But the way that most people talk about when we're talking about soul contracts, the way that most people or I most often hear about it is in relation to partners. And so that's really what I'm going to talk about today. There's a lot that we can really go into with soul contracts and just life and choices that we make and those agreements, right? And how we show up and how those agreements show up for us in this lifetime. But I really want to focus on the idea of partnership or those soul mates, right? Soulmates, so to speak. So one, let's just step back and talk about what is a contract, right? A contract is an agreement, right? It's an agreement that says, I will do this thing. The expectation is that you will do this thing, right? And we are going to be in relation as it relates to these tenets that we've laid out. Okay, think of it like your lease or mortgage, right? Here's a contract I'm signing. Yes, I'm going to do this. And so there is a level of you are bound to operate within this particular way that is according to this agreement. Okay. So the soul has these contracts. And when the soul has these contracts, the soul feels bound to operate in a particular way in agreement with whatever and however that contract was created or constructed. Okay. What's important to note here is that the contract wasn't created in this moment, right? So let's say it is about a soulmate, right? The contract is not now I meet this person in this moment and I am like, yes, based on my evolution and based on your evolution, this is what we're going to do right now. Let's create this contract about it. Okay. The contract is created based on the time that you met. Whatever incarnation or iteration or whatever version of that time period that you all were together is when that contract was created, is when that agreement was put into place. Okay. The problem is, as souls, we continue to grow, we continue to evolve, we continue to have new experiences, new choices, and we shift, right? I might shift and grow at the same level as the soul that I was in this agreement with, or I may not. They may evolve faster than me. I may evolve faster than them. I may take a completely different turn, right? Because the other thing that we have the benefit of here is freedom of choice and free will, right? So I could have just made some new choices that have taken me down a different path. But my contract was based on this time period, these circumstances, these settings. Okay. So now what happens is in this lifetime, you meet that mate, that soul mate. And I'm more talking about, right now, I'm going to talk about romantic relationships. You meet this soulmate. Okay. And it feels good. The soul recognizes, you recognize that soul may recognize your soul. And notice I said may, right? You recognize that soul may recognize your soul, and it feels good on some level, right? There is a level of comfort, of familiarity, of I've done this, I know this, right? And so we start to do that. We start to do that. The problem can occur when the contract, remember that written thing talks about how we agree, when those aspects of the contract start to kick in, right? Maybe in the lifetime that you had that contract, you were meek, right? You just kind of went along with the flow. Whatever you were told to do, you did it, right? That was the nature of your relationship, and it was great. because that's where you were in that lifetime. But now in this lifetime, you were like, on 10. Don't tell me what to do. I'm my own person. I can do what I want. So although there's going to be that familiarity, right? That home, that sense of knowing, that sense of comfort. Now there's contention because the circumstances that created the agreement can no longer be played out in this reality, because the version of you is different now than the version of you that created the original contract. Okay. And so now you're in a situation where you're like, no, but this is my soulmate. Why are we fighting? Why are we this? Why is there tension? Why is there that? It's because the circumstances that created the agreement are no longer applicable now. Okay. And the other problem with this idea of these contracts, these soulmate, because a soulmate is a contract. It's just an agreement, right? That your soul has said, oh my gosh, me and this person will do this thing again, or me and this person will interact in this way, or me and this person, whatever it is, right? It's an agreement. And the problem is those agreements kind of go against our ability to have freedom of choice and free will. So sometimes in this reality, we struggle because at soul level, our soul is like, nope, this is the agreement, this is the contract, this is what we said. And our physical embodiment, the physical embodiment of ourselves is like, oh no, but in this lifetime, oh wait, I want this. I want this relation. Oh, this relationship seems great and fun. This person, we're aligned. And so we start having these relationships with other people and they never quite feel right. Right? It's like we don't fully show up as ourself, as our full ability to kind of receive, right? We start having conflicts within that relationship. Again, all of these are kind of like the soul's version of self-sabotage, right? Because the soul is like, nope, we have this agreement over here, right? Problems are, one, you don't know if that other soul that you were in relationship with is actually incarnated in this lifetime or not, right? You don't know if they've incarnated as someone who is available to you. You don't know if they've let go of their version of the contract, right? So now your soul is holding on to your soul is like, nope, you signed. And the other soul is like, yeah, I signed, but I also learned how to renegotiate and I got out of it, right? But your soul is still holding on to it. And then again, evolution, right? So what version of yourself are you trying to live out now that is not congruent with this particular thing? So those are some of the problems or some of the issues that can arise when we have a contract, a soul contract, right? Soul contracts also come into place, although in that context, I just spoke of it in romantic terms, right? It's friendships. It is just how we relate to people in general, right? We could have made an agreement, or I could have made an agreement in the past that, maybe me and this person were so great, and you know what? We're going to come back as sisters next time. We're going to come back as sisters. And maybe in that last time, I was older and they were younger. And so now in this lifetime, it's the reverse. And so there are some power dynamics that we're struggling with, right? And the power dynamic is based on, again, the last version of us together, where we made that agreement that we were going to come back in this time and do this thing again, right? So many different types of kind of soul level contracts or agreements exist. And like I said, that can include, kind of lessons that you want to learn. And then you'll tag in the people that can help you learn those lessons, right? Which is why we meet some people for like very short periods of time. And it's kind of like, dang, I really needed that. That person needed to teach me how to do this thing, right? It was probably some type of agreement that you had with that soul, right? To come and to show you that lesson or that thing, right? Again, we have romantic contracts. Those are those soulmate contracts. We have platonic contracts, which are those soulmate things, right? So we can also have a platonic soulmate. right? This person that we have agreed to journey through life with, or through certain times with, through certain eras with, right? We've made an agreement to do that. That's all that is, right? And so I don't, people tend to over romanticize the idea of a soulmate or of soul contracts. And I am simply wanting to offer a perspective that is not about over romanticizing it, because in the over romanticizing of it, I think sometimes people stay in situations that are more harmful than beneficial, because in their mind's eye, they've created this statement of, this is my soulmate. And I'm not taking anything away from the fact that they may in fact be your soulmate, right? And you might actually be able to resolve whatever those kind of karmic mismatches or kind of energetic imbalances, vibrational imbalances are in this lifetime, if you understand what's happening, right? And so that brings me back to why I love the Akashic Records, is because you get to understand what's happening. And freedom of choice, we get to dissolve or revoke or say, nope, I'm not in agreement with that anymore. I don't want that. I'm changing, so we have the ability to kind of cancel a contract, right? Or to shift an agreement, so to speak. But we have to know that it exists. All right. So I hope that this conversation has been good for you. Feel free to leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and share the channel. Again, I am Dr. Latoya Davis. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Chi Healing Institute. And I hope to see you at my next Soul Wisdom Chat. Bye.